Affirmative care isn't medical care. It really isn't. It's saying that the patient's self-diagnosis will prevail in a medical setting because the doctor will not exercise his or her own professional judgment. It's an abdication of medical responsibility. And it's saying that whatever the patient self-diagnosis with, specifically with regard to the transgender or gender dysphoria self-diagnosis, we're going to just rubber stamp. So there's no other area of medicine where you take a patient's self-diagnosis at face value. So I think it's obviously inconsistent with all other medical protocols, but it's also just sort of offensive to the idea of a professionalism. Doctors get medical degrees for a reason. We expect them to exercise their judgment. And here's a place where they've abdicated all responsibility and just sign on the dotted line with whatever the patient comes up with. Yes, you're gender dysphoric. Sure. When do you want your breasts removed? And that sounds like a caricature, but it's not much of one. And this is, of course, something that's happened all across the West. And there was a young woman, Jay Langandinos, I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly, who in Australia, who on her first visit with a psychiatrist, and I know this because she sued her psychiatrist afterwards, but her first visit, he okayed cross-sex hormones, testosterone. On I think a second visit, he okayed her double mastectomy, and by the third, he was taking out writing a script to a surgeon, a recommendation to eliminate her uterus, so for a hysterectomy. So you see how quickly these things are moving. And in her own complaint, she said, I came to this psychiatrist for his medical judgment, not for him to use mine. But that's what he had done. He had substituted her judgment for his. At least in the complaint, and I agree with that. When you go to a doctor in every other area, a doctor will say, "I know you think you're having a heart attack. Trust me, you're not. It's a panic attack, or whatever else it is. So I'm not going to prescribe the cardiac medication you'd like, or whatever it is." And here they aren't doing that.